What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So news just came out. Lucid now has access up to $1 billion. I'm going to be talking about what that news is and how that will affect Lucid and its investors. But before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, let's get right to it. So I'm just going to generally go over what the market is right now. So we are very much green. We were a little bit more green first thing in the morning, but still 6.5 million for volume right now, 28.8. That is the average, 6-month average as well, and 850,000 shares being purchased by institutions and hedge funds just today alone. And that's not too bad, to be honest, because considering we are on the verge of the Fed meeting, and that could be all over the place. But at the end, I do feel that long-term Lucid is going to be doing a lot of good things, and having this news that did come out, access to $1 billion is a very big deal. So I'm just going to quickly pop over here. So Lucid does secure $1 billion in revolving credit through a agreement with syndicate of banks. So what does a syndicate of banks mean, and who is that? So I'm just going to quickly pop back over here and explain that to you. So in general, I personally feel it is very good. So the main component is Bank of America. So Bank of America has always really liked Lucid from the get-go. That's definitely no doubt about that. But it does look like a lot of other banks are getting in. So this is where they're talking about the syndicate of banks. And looking here, it does show and includes Citibank, Barclays, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, BNP, Royal Bank of Canada, which is funny to see them. They are very much against Lucid based on their 13Fs, but still, that aside, HSBC and several others. So this is where they're getting that syndicate. So ultimately, it does show that they have up until $1 billion of debt, and you can consider this more of a line of credit for those individuals that don't know what a revolving credit facility credit is. It's basically a line of credit. So they do have access up to $1 billion, and keep in mind though, it does allow them to do an additional 500 million. So very beneficial, and this is up until June the 9th, 2027. So in the end, this is going to make everything Lucid does so much better, because yes, Saudi Arabia is going to be really kind of facilitating and helping with the costs for the Saudi Arabia facility, but the AMP on local front is doing a lot of big things, and most likely as well it's going to be costing a lot of money. So this hands down is very much good. Especially, I never ever would want the gravity to be pushed back because of lack of funding for whatever reason. So having access to this is very good, and similar to like a line of credit on your personal stance, it doesn't necessarily need to be used. So having access to $1 billion is very beneficial for a company like this, especially if we are heading into a recession from what everyone says. And this comes the day after Elon does say that both Lucid and Rivian are on their way towards bankruptcy. So I found this kind of a, maybe it's just a jab back towards Elon. I don't know. It's just very coincidental timing of all of this, but still, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with this. Market seems to really be appreciating this as well. So one thing as well, over the last several videos, I have been bringing this up more so about their basic balance sheet, what their cash and everything is. I've been bringing up about the 2.2 billion being in debt. Some people did leaving comments saying that they didn't fully understand what that is or disagree with what I'm saying. So what I was saying was, of this 2.2 billion, 2 billion of that is very low cost finance through their senior debt offering. So this is the discrepancy where people are not really, I guess per se, not understanding, or maybe I'm saying it incorrectly. So I just wanted to show you this. This did come out roughly about 6 months ago, but still nothing's really changed about this. So this is the debt offering that was offered, 1.7 billion off of the basic fundamental thing here, but it shows right here, they were able to add roughly about 250,000 up to, give or take. I believe that 12 million additional outside of that 250 is more so for administrative costs and things like that. But still, it goes to show that this is where that 2 billion comes from. So going back to this is why I feel we do have a very good balance sheet, because looking here, we do a 5.39 billion in cash equivalents and short-term investments, 2.2 billion in debt. And like I just showed you, 2 billion of that that is very low cost financing up until 2026. So very beneficial. And not only that though, it is 1.25%. So even if they do raise the interest rate 75 basis points today, it still doesn't really affect Lucid. So this is why from the get-go I've been saying Lucid's been being dragged down with all of these other growth stocks prematurely, because a lot of other growth stocks rely on debt, hands down, but Lucid doesn't need that. On paper it shows that they have 2.2 billion, but in reality that's not that big of a deal, especially by then Saudi Arabia facility is going to be up and running. And even worst case scenario, if we ever come close to defaulting on our debt, the PIF is going to support us big time. But I just want to share this big news with you because I personally see this as a very strong positive, and even more so with us going into the Fed meeting on a very much green day is, again, it's a win-win. And looking just briefly at the technicals, the RSI is still flat. The stochastic, you can tell that it is still extremely oversold, but yet we do have that deviation, so still of a bearish sign. And looking a little bit closer, the momentum number of buyers is still maintaining themselves. So overall, we are kind of in limbo from the technical stance. A lot of people don't necessarily know where to go. Clearly, a lot of people do really like this news that did come out. Just a lot of people are very skeptical about what is going to come from the Feds. But regardless of all that, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. And one final thing as well, I just wanted to share with you. I forgot to do this at the very beginning. There's a massive promo going on. Click on the link in the description below. Sign up. Just deposit only $1 and you can get up to 6 free stocks. It is a crazy deal. It's mind-blowing. This is why I've been sharing it quite a lot. So take advantage of these kind of deals during a bearish market, if you ever want to call it that. But with that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.